March 19th, I'm talking about Zach. I gotta send out an email. Yeah. Chris, but you can only have so many members there, so. I think it's like one wants two people there. Yeah, it's just there. Zach will be there, and somebody else wants to go. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Mark will be back yet, so.
No, huh? All right, I have 6 o'clock, so I'm going to close this meeting. Start. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a reminder, the meeting is being recorded, so. I guess Susan, don't do anything you don't want to see on TV later.
Yeah.
Okay, first up, we have the minutes of the February 24th meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to go through them?
Yeah, I have one thing on it.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm sorry. Just a part, just one little part. Okay. Regarding the statement that was made by the chairman on zoning enforcement officer email, I just want, for the record, it was said here that the statement that was made was untrue and added to the select board member. The statement that the town no longer has a zoning enforcement officer, you stated that wasn't true. It is true. We don't have a zoning. We don't have a zoning officer at the moment that's been appointed by us. So that is a true fact. So that is untrue what you said. But other than that, I'm fine with it. I want that on the record.
Okay, and on the record, I will tell you that you should have done a little more homework on that, because what happens is, if no positive action is taken on a position, that is to either replace or reaffirm the position, the individual holding that position is presumed to continue in that spot until positive action has been taken. So, and even if that were the case, it wasn't to one member of this board to make that announcement to the rest of the employees of the town. That would be something that is announced as a result of the board making that decision and making that statement. So,
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments on the minutes? If not, I will be happy to take a motion on that.
I'll make a motion that we accept the select board minutes from February 24th, 2025. I second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
McGuire, aye?
Randall aye.
Kelly, aye. Thank you. Okay, next up on the new business, to discuss the town historian appointment. I've got actually a couple requests from different members of the Historical Commission who have suggested it might be a good idea if we had a historical officer, individual who could kind of manage the day-to-day on that. It's a non-paid position. It doesn't require creating it as part of the bylaw or anything. We can just appoint somebody to do that job. So, and we do have a person who is kind enough. And what was the word kind? And that's Mike DeFalco. So, does anybody have any questions for Mr. DeFalco, who is sitting right here with us? Okay, So unless somebody has an objection, if someone would like to make a motion, we can make that official right now.
So Mike, you want to be the town historian? Is that what we're looking at?
Well, just so you know, this didn't originate with me, it originated with other people on the board, and they asked me if I would be interested, and I said, yeah. So I don't want to come across as I'm here patting myself on the back and tooting my own horn. I was going to be quiet with this and let Roseanne.
Had I said the other word that occurred to me, there wouldn't be that confusion.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mike DeFalco as a town historian for a one-year term?
Yeah.
No, one-year term.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have 2 seconds. Any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
McGuire, aye.
Vandal aye.
Kelly, aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Come on up. Thanks, Mike, appreciate it. You're the exact right candidate for that job.
Yes, he is.
So, right, I think everybody knows that, so it's nice to make it official for you.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Okay, next up, we have the Historical Commission fiscal year 2026 budget, which is in front of you. Okay. Everybody had a chance to look it over? Okay. Does anybody have any questions? We do have members from that committee here.
I went through extensive submission with your budget, which is quite, it's amazing how active you guys are and the plans you're moving forward. I think it's all fine. I think the one thing that kind of popped out to me was your own website, and which is fine. I mean, I was on your own website, so for those that don't know, the Historic Commission has their own website, and then they have a page on the town page. So I think we just need to be careful for using townspeople tax dollars funding, if that's what's happening, a web page for Historic Commission, because then that opens up Pandora's box for other departments or other committees that may want a separate page from the town page, and then and there may be, I didn't do research, like the fire department has its own page, they pay it on their own, they don't use tax dollars. That's my only concern, as I was looking through all this. So
Right, and I believe at one time, like the rec department wanted to have their own webpage that was done on.
it could have been, yeah. So, and I know, I like what you're trying to do, like when I read through some of this, working with the town clerk on some of these old documents and stuff, Mike himself has done a lot of work with a lot of documents. They want to get documents scanned and up online so people can see it, which is great, but.
Can I just make one correction? Which
Yep.
I misunderstood when the last item is incorrect, or partially. When I had talked with Deb, we had talked about scanning the stuff we've been working on at the town hall, and talked about putting things online, except I thought she meant everything, and she said she did not want to put the birth, death, or marriage, the vital records, don't put them online. I think there's some legal implications and things like that there. So I had used that as one of the things we were looking to do, and that's not correct. The other stuff, yes, but the vital records, no. And the thing with the website, as everyone knows, I think, we're pretty limited to what can be put on the town page, and we wanted to put more information out there about the projects we were working on, stuff about town history and things like that, and that's why we went. Right now, we got a bill for it, it's like $83 for the year for just hosting it. Item 9 was if in the future we wanted to expand things, put a lot of the town records out there, then you'd need more space, which requires additional costs. We have the minimum package right now to host it. So 9 is kind of a in the future thing if everyone's in agreement with doing it.
So just so I'm clear, so on your page, on the town page, you have a hyperlink to your,
I don't think we have a link to it at
there's no
all.
hyperlink?
There's nothing on the town page that takes them to their page. I can
No.
just have to look
No,
at it.
not yet. The town page just has the newsletter we do, I think the minutes and agendas and the list of members, and I think that's the extent of what's historical on the town page.
Are you against having a hyperlink there?
Oh, no, no. It's just, we haven't really gotten around to that yet. Plus, I may need, I have access to the town historical page, but I'm not sure if I can do everything with it. Certain things Deb still had to do, like to add a member, I couldn't do that. So I'll talk with her and see what's involved in getting a link out there.
Good.
No, and again, I think it's just something to be aware of, opening Pandora's box, $80, $100. Next thing you know, every department's got their own website. So, but again, what Deb shared me and what you said tonight, and again, we've had comments in the past, scanning a document is huge. That would, I mean, that's one of the things that I'm glad to see, and that, you know, if any equipment you need for that, I mean, the select board, it's not technical, but it's the equipment, like computers, all that stuff. If you need a scanner, things like that, I mean, that's what that account is for. Because moving forward, as we've talked about this board meeting the last year and a half, and department heads, we need to get, like even Deb said, when you start scanning all those files, it makes it so much easier. Someone just sends a request in for something, and a click of a button, she has it, and it can go out, you know, and, you know, as you know, anybody in this room, Mr. Falcon knows where all the documents are in town hall and stuff, and they're not in great shape where they're stored, so the sooner we get them scanned, the better it is.
Well, the one thing with that, I did talk to Deb about starting doing the vital records for her benefit. They would live on her computer. We talked about her getting a scanner and setting it up in her office. And as far as the vital records, we felt that even the fact that we're the historical commission, it really probably wasn't a good idea seeing those leave the town offices. So the scanning for those we would do on site. Because even though I think we're pretty reliable about stuff, I wouldn't feel comfortable taking something like that home to scan it on my scanner. So we would do that on site.
Thank you very much.
You'll appreciate it.
I'll make a motion that we approve the historical commission fiscal year 2026 budget.
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Adams, aye.
So do I.
Wire eye?
Randall, aye.
Kelly, aye. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Okay, one question. Now we contact finance and go before them, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks again.
And just
Thanks
for
a lot.
those here wanted to know, just so you know, their budget from last year was $750. And this year, it's now, if it's approved, the annual meeting will be $1,500. So they haven't had an increase in over 7 years, so I think it's
I think-
more than
I think it's go back farther than that.
I think 2010, Marie said,
right.
was the
Right.
last
It's been
time.
quite a while.
And back then.
So
we
you're
weren't-
back again already?
Okay.
I said, so you're back again already? So now we're gonna see this every 15 years? Come on, man.
Yeah, really. Hope I'm around in 15 years to do it.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Next up, I feel like we brought this in.
We did.
Did we do ambulance service?
Yeah, but we tabled, as I learned, we tabled the select board budget. When we did that, it tabled the
Oh,
annual budget,
all right.
so we have to put it all
All right.
in one budget.
This next one, the ambulance service is contractual, so there's nothing to do other than to just approve it.
Right.
So if somebody would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the ambulance budget for fiscal year 26.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Adams, aye.
Wire eye?
Randall, aye.
Kelly, aye. Thank you. Next, we have the selectman office. That's in front of everybody right there. Thoughts on the budget?
So as I mentioned last meeting, is we should have either we, in the selectmen's expense, we add some funds for the, the Massachusetts Municipal Association meeting. That annual meeting is around $250, I think it was this year, it was $250, select board member, or any, not just select board members can go, any, right, department heads, anyone can go. It's $250 a head, person to go. I think that's where, I'm not sure, I did not break it down, because we have an increase from, what's been happening in the last few years is that we're always short. So if I remember doing a transfer, right, at the end of the year, I forget what the term is, we're transferring funds from one department to another to pay our shortfalls, right? My suggestion is that if we could increase that line item by $1,000 to cover at least, that would be 4 people, 250, 250, 500, 1,000, 1,250, and that covers membership for 5 board members to go annually. At least start there. I mean, it's, again, I myself have gone and covered the hotel and fuel and stuff like that. I've only turned in the membership, the attendance fee for the $250 and a meal or parking lots receipt or something like that. Parking garage.
Any other comments or questions on that?
So right now, it's $8,000.
Well, we're requesting $8,000.
We're
That's
requesting.
the new request, yeah. So he's suggesting it be $9,000.
$9,250.
That's what
Right.
Mhm.
'Cause I wasn't sure how to do it. If, like, I guess when I talked to the accountant, she said you can just put it in your expense, and that would.
But what do we spend in previous years? Like,
Well, so again, I highly encourage all of you to go because I truly believe, at least for myself, that's how I stay on top of what's going on in our Commonwealth and bring that information back to not just the select board, but other departments. So in the past, Mr. Soto's gone every year. I've been every year. Well, I say every year. This is my 3rd year, so I've been the last 3 years. I don't know if you are, like the rest of your award, are aware of MMA and how that works, but you know, I encourage you to go. And I think, again, even the new select board members, whoever they are, you know, at the end of June, hopefully they would go. And I think it's important. Our residents deserve informed leadership. And that's and that's not just the classes you take or the workshops and the vendor showcase, but the networking is incredible. Really, I mean, I can tell you the first year I went with Mr. Soto, he knew a lot of people, introduced me to a lot of people, still have those connections today. So a lot of times when I come to this meeting and it's who I know. It's not what I know, it's who I know, and I get those answers. MMA has been a huge resource for me for that too. You know, besides all their videos online, the webinars I try to catch on a regular basis. So, and again, just this Friday I'm going to a spring breakfast, legislative breakfast. So the MMA sponsors. So again, that's just me. That's how I stay on top, or try to. There's so much, you know, that's going on.
If you want to make a motion on that one item?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we increase the selectmen's expense line item number 0122-5420 to $9,250.
Second that.
Okay. Any other further questions or comments?
I mean, I didn't really get the question answered, though. I'm just curious on what we spent.
So again, last year, last year Mr. Soto and I went, that's $500, plus I'd have to dig up a couple meal slips and a couple parking garage slips. So,
Well, I guess
What
my,
was left in that line item, right?
well, not so much that, but like, okay, you guys went, I think it sounds like a great idea,
Yeah.
but like I've never been. But did we deplete that because we went there? I just want to know why.
so that's hard. I mean, the answer to that question is yes, because what's been happening is, and I can say that, is that one thing that depleted it? No, but again, have we depleted? The answer is yes.
Okay,
That's right, and we have been. And again, Marie said it's okay in a sense because you're, at the end of the year, the money's being moved around, right? The shortfall, the extra funds that offset who's short here and there. This is just a way to just keep it cleaner, you know, and if it doesn't get used, it doesn't get used, but at least you have it there for, you know, so if all 5 board members want to go, at least you're covering that portion of it. If only 2 go, that's fine. It would all come out of that account. It's not just specifically for MMA, but
Right.
Right.
Throughout the course of the year, if there's a couple more different.
Yeah.
things coming.
So we have a motion and a second?
Yep, we have a motion and a second. If there's no other questions or comments, then I will call that to a vote. All in favor?
Adam's eye.
So do I.
Or
There's a lot.
Kelly, no.
The other question in the budget we have to look at is the salary portion for our assistant. I think it would be good if we were to be in executive session to discuss some of that. How do I say? I'm trying to say. So there hasn't been a meeting with our administrator about a package, hours. I mean, he still needs some clarifications. He's working, what is it, a 32-hour week? Is he working a 40-hour week? And that position, that salary for that position was set with our previous administrator, where she had experience in municipality work. I think we're her third town, plus other education background stuff. Our current assistant doesn't have all those years of experience, but at the same time has degrees and stuff. I just think we need to have a meeting to just. I think it's fair for our employee to understand at least the hours they're working and so forth. And I'm not sure. I know it's hard to have this conversation with them sitting at the table, and that's why I think we need to have a conversation in the executive session.
Okay.
Or I mean, maybe share with me how we want to handle. I mean, we can leave the line item the same and still do that. I mean, maybe it stays the same. I mean, we're talking $68,000 a year line item.
Let me ask you this, under what category of executive session would you put that?
I don't know. The talk with an employee in contract negotiations, I mean, does it have to be public?
Well, we have to
I
see
didn't
what the
think so.
executive session rules allow.
Yeah, I thought we were allowed to do that in private, but it's food, again, I don't mind if we leave the line item the way it is, but I think just that conversation really needs to happen, just so we're on the same page. I mean, just started taking the procurement classes, which is great, and I know that was mentioned too. I mean, Crystal brought this up a couple meetings back about the money down, the dollar amount, and, a lot of times, he takes all the trainings, he gets the certification procurement officer, then he can get a pay bump. That's why I'm okay, again, if that dollar amount stays the same, if we want to adjust it somehow. That conversation never really happened. That's kind of what I'm getting at. It's kind of weird how this all kind of.
I agree with George that it's kind of weird about how it all happened. I don't know. I don't know how many hours would be. What do you?
About 35.
Well,
That paid for 35, which is the job description and what was made in the interim appointment that was kind of carried forward in the formal.
Yeah, if you figure that he works 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, from 9 to 5, and if you factor in like a half hour for
But
lunch.
wasn't there something about flea market hours
Yep,
and all
yes,
that?
there is.
So I think, like, I'd like to know more about that, so I kind of agree, I do agree with what George is saying. I would say to keep that line item the same.
Get it hashed out.
Right,
On
for
exactly what the
everybody's clarity.
Yep, that's fine. Okay, so with that, why don't we find out if in fact that's executive session eligible? But for the purpose of this, if you want to make a motion to accept the budget, we'll accept that, and then we can talk with Chris about going forward hours and so forth.
So we gotta do the math. Stand by for 1 second.
We think about hours?
No. If we're gonna approve the budget, we added money to
You
it.
added $1,000.
Right, so the current budget, for those that wanna know, last year's budget was I read that
I
right?
think you could just approve it as amended, George?
I could, or, well, I can, right, you wanna do it that way?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I make a motion, we approve the select board's budget as amended for the fiscal year 26.
Second.
Chris?
If you could clarify through select board office, there's still 2 other select board budgets.
So,
So select board office
Right.
budget, office budget.
yeah. So we're just doing this.
Oh, I'm sorry, select board office budget, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Adam's aye.
So do I.
McGuire, aye?
Van the line.
Tony, aye.
So let me just so everyone knows, the budget for 2025 was $149,888, and this year it'll be $152,634 plus the $1,250, so 53. So roughly that's what you're looking
Okay, so having done that, we'll move off to the next issue, which is the select board annual town meeting warrant articles we did. So we've got the building commissioner regarding the building department website. We got a complaint, I had Chris send it to everybody, that we have a member who had gone in and participated in changing the website without, discussing it with either this board or with the building commissioner. And I just think that we should be in some kind of an agreement where if we're gonna make that kind of a move, at a minimum, as a courtesy, the department head should know. And if it's something that's gonna change the website itself, I think the board should be making that change. So there's no vote that needs to be taken on it. I wanted to point that out so that going forward, we are all on the same page.
So if I may,
Yep.
for the record, in your package, I also made sure you guys had a copy of the change. For those who didn't know, read the letter, I made a change in the building department's website. So in the package is a copy of what was on the website that was posted, that I updated the website. I was tasked to work on Permit Pro with the building department. I sent an email, let me back it up. In a meeting in September, one of the tasks that the building department had, like when going back online, and in that meeting was our admin, Teresa at the time, Andrea from the building department, Scott, our electrical inspector was in that meeting, Permit Pro itself was online in that meeting. Our commissioner chose not to be at that meeting. Okay? In that meeting, one of the things we talked about was updating online and to talk about other ways to positively promote online permitting so the residents and contractors know that it's there, so they're using it. That was talked about in that meeting. Back in January, I sent an email to the building department just stating that I noticed on their website nothing had been changed on their site promoting online permitting. I actually gave them 5 links to 5 other towns with suggestions of websites to change, like to look at, and how we can update our website. With that, I did get a response back from Andrea, our clerk, stating that they made a change, but she didn't know how to add a link. I looked at the site, and all it was like online permit. There was nothing on it. It didn't talk about Permit Pro, the benefits to it. It wasn't anything like I sent in the email. At first, I'll be honest, I kind of looked at it, all right, is this an example of insubordination? Are we just not, doing it? But then I looked at it the other way, and I said, okay, she just doesn't know how to do it, and that's why she was going to reach out to the town clerk for help. So that's how I looked at it. I looked at that. I called the town clerk, talked to Deb, because that was referred in the conversation with Andrea. The town clerk explained to me that she does a lot of their updates and stuff on their site because, they either don't have the knowledge or the skills to do it, don't understand a lot of it. So I then took what you see here in front of you, the graphics that shows permits online, the description of the building department came from, not only did that description come from the town of Westboro's page, I think one was Charlton's page. It's kind of more, the commissioner's job description is in that statement, his actual job description. So it also, and again, it talks about using the Brimfield online permitting system, the benefits to it, it's easier, if you read it, it's laid out nice, it's professional, and it went up on the site. I also got the idea from our Board of Health page, where they actually have a mission statement about what they do and what their role is. So this is nothing out of the ordinary.
But George, did you, and
Okay.
what you wrote here, I mean, what is,
Mhm.
you put on it, I mean, I agree, it's well written,
Mhm.
but at any time did you speak to the commissioner and say, hey, this is what, suggesting this?
I did not. I did not. And again, I took it as I just helping out, that's how I looked at it. They didn't know how to do it, so I kind of took it on, I got it done.
If there was
And-
extra communication.
And again, I apologize for it. I understand that. There's no question, there's been some tensions,
Right.
you know? And so, and I also said that, again, it's an easy fix. If there was something that wasn't right, that's what I actually mentioned to the town clerk. If there's an issue, if you let me know, you know, we can address it. It's not a big deal. There's nothing here that's actually positive. It makes the building department, you know, I think it makes them look really well. It's, you know, and again, it shows to me the other pages that could use a little life, you know, a facelift on some other department pages, but that's all it was, honest. I mean, again, we can get into other things, and, you know, this board in the past, there's been other changes made to department pages that this board hasn't approved, okay? To have the board approve a change that goes on a web page, that's, by the way, in the job description of the building commissioner and clerk, they're going to talk about managing the web page. So, again, it's hard, I guess, how I say, I don't think we have to have, to me, if this was done, if the building commissioner had an issue, he could have called me directly, he knew who it was, he clearly put it in the letter, could pick the phone up. I would have had no problem making a change. You know, he can be upset, vent on me, that's fine, I'll take it, that's okay, and then how do we move forward, right? So right now, if you go to their webpage, they kept the icon, they removed all this description. It's okay, you know, whatever.
George, I think your
But-
intentions are good. I just think
Mhm.
communication-wise, I mean, this could have been, this shouldn't be an issue.
Right.
If there's just communication.
Right, no, I agree. I'm not, again, like I said in the beginning, when I got that email back, at first I took it as, you know, insubordination, like, dude, this is what we're supposed to be doing, and yet you're not really doing what is being asked to do. But then when I read into it, that I think they just don't know how to do it, that's all. And so I took that on, knowing that Deb, like they said, Deb's the one who's been managing it for them, or helping them with that, so our clerk, that's how that went down. It wasn't an intention in any way to undermine the building department, you know, there's nothing here that's negative, it's actually really positive. I know this letter says there's some things in it that are inaccurate or not true, or not correct, but we don't know what that is, right? So I couldn't fix that, and I think, you know, I mean, water under the bridge, we have it in front of us. If we want to make a motion, that's what we're going to do, is start making motions on everything that every department puts on their webpage.
Well, I don't think that's really the point of it. The point of it, and you will note that I deliberately did not attach a name to the statement, just that a
Right.
member made a change,
That's-
okay? So I'm not,
That's
this
okay.
is not intended to attack anybody. But I
No,
think,
but it's
I
in
think
the
if any,
email,
I
so.
think if a member of this board is going to lead the charge and make the decision for another department to make that change, this board should be aware of that before that happens, and so too should the department head. So having said all of that, we know what happened, we
Right.
know what we're doing going forward, so let's just move past it at this point. I did skip one, I'm sorry, I apologize for that, and that's the Select Board Annual Town Meeting warrant articles. There are 3 here. The first one is for the amount of $100,000 for maintenance, renovations, weatherization of buildings and so forth. Last year, it was put on at 150 and revised down on the floor to 100,000. So we thought, let's just go with the 100,000, and if somebody feels that they would like to get more money out of it, they can amend it on the floor. Everybody okay with that? Okay.
And for the record, there's currently 56,000 in that account,
Okay.
in that revolving account, right? So that means if that's approved, it would be 100 if we don't spend a nickel of it.
Okay. Next one up was the, as Mr. Soto had pointed out, And it's interesting, I couldn't find anybody who knew that, so that belongs to everybody. There is a section of our zoning bylaws that says that the zoning officer is appointed for 1 year. For the last, I don't know, 9 or 10 years, it's been appointed at a 3-year term, and I think people just accepted it on face value. The other thing that happened was, if you go back and look through the earlier town meeting report, you'll note that when it lists the appointed positions, 2 separate positions. One was the building commissioner, and a separate one was the zoning officer. Somewhere around 2018, I couldn't find any minutes of meetings that changed that, but it is now identified as building commissioner / zoning officer to sort of indicate that, you know, same person doing the 2 jobs. In the interest of, you know, I mean, the Board of Selectmen can choose to give it a 3-year, I mean, if the town says, yeah, we want to do this. So what we're doing is we're just asking to see if the town wants to change that from a 1-year appointment to a 3